I know we were expecting some new developments this weekend, but some of them have failed quality control. Make sure you indicate what you'd like redeveloped via the workstation.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Aarava here. Welcome back to an episode of my F1 2018 career mode, episode number 34 today for the Belgian Grand Prix in Season 2. We entered this race weekend then with one failure of our upgrade of the fuel consumption. We do have the upgrade, though, to our ERS, so 1 out of 2 is okay. We have to wait until the end of the episode then to actually repurchase that upgrade because I don't have enough points. But if you guys did miss the previous episode at the Hungarian Grand Prix, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one there. Hungary was a little frustrating here and there. All in all, was still a good result for us. And so coming here to Belgium, I'm hoping for a bit of a better time, really, to be honest, because Belgium's always been a favourite circuit of mine. And unlike Hungary, you can definitely overtake. Last season, we had a slipstream fest and a half here at Belgium, so it was really, really fun. Unlike kind of like the real-life Grand Prix in 2018, ironically. But going into this one, then, in terms of the performance chart, you can see we make a little step ahead. That tiny minor upgrade to the ERS does keep us ahead of Red Bull there. Ferrari close up a tiny bit to Red Bull there, and then you can see that midfield pack is really forming now because Renault have also been steadily upgrading ever since the British Grand Prix. You can see they've had the same exact trajectory of the upward curve there for Renault, and so they're closing up on McLaren, who haven't upgraded now since that same British Grand Prix. Mercedes now make a step forward, and you can see Force India still remain ahead of Mercedes, but it's Force India, Merc, McLaren, then Renault, and then interestingly enough, you can see Sauber once again making more upgrades from Hungary to Belgium. At this rate, they could join the midfield fight by the end of the season, which would be crazy to see because that would only make it then Williams and Toro Rosso at the bottom end, and then you have a really tightly packed midfield pack of 5 teams there. It would be very, very intriguing to see how that goes out there. But for us, hopefully, you know, you can see the advantage we have to Red Bull. Obviously, it didn't really pan out at Hungary. We had that same sort of advantage at Hungary, and Ricciardo went on to dominate the Grand Prix after he jumped Magnussen in the pit stop. So we'll have to see how it goes around here. In theory, we should go better, being able to abuse the engine power over Red Bull a bit more down that back straight and also the Kemmel straight in the first sector. So let's see how it goes then in qualifying, and then we'll go into the rest of the race weekend.
It's qualifying time at Spa, one of the mightiest tracks on the Formula One calendar. Long straights, up and downhill, Eau Rouge as well. This track isn't for the faint-hearted. When it comes to getting lap time out of this circuit, it's traditionally been about maximising top speed. Do you simply remove as much downforce as possible, hang on into the corners and max out down the straights?
Top speed is a key factor for this circuit. Even if you can achieve the same lap time as someone running less wing than you, chances are you'll find overtaking difficult if you have too much drag.
Right, a little bit of an electrical problem at the moment. We're working on it now, so don't worry. We're going to get you out there as soon as possible.
Right, so we start our qualifying then with an electrical system fault, and so that's going to be just over 5.5 minutes then of sitting in the garage here before we can even go out there. This is the biggest failure I've ever seen. You know, before we've had, you know, brake fluid failures and other kind of small little issues that have taken maybe 1 or 2 minutes to kind of come into fruition, but this is a big 5-minute chunk, and it's going to be made worse by the fact that there was some rain maybe forecast for later in qualifying, so we might be in a bit of a pickle, I can't lie.
We're expecting some rain soon. Expect the first drops in the next few minutes.
Like our engineers just said there, we've got some rain on the way, so this issue might turn into a real major disaster for us here in qualifying. You can see at the moment it is dry, but look at that. That indicator is going to that dot of rain there. And so if we fast forward through these 5.5 minutes then, as we get closer to that wet period, it's going to go to full wets then, apparently, according to that radar. And everyone has already been out there and done one dry lap. I'm only now able to load my setup in and get ready for my flying lap. But at the moment, as the fault's gone away, I go out there on the super soft tyres, but you can clearly see grip is already not looking great, and you can, if you look close enough on the actual chassis, just where the halo meets the top of the chassis, you can see a little subtlety of some rain falling away from the halo, and into turn 1, the grip just isn't there. We go completely wide, and it's kind of an indication that you might not be able to see it totally, but it is actually raining already now around here at Spa. So Belgium, obviously known to be a very tricky circuit, you know, the climate can change just like that in an instant, and it has done for us in qualifying. It's going to get to full wets eventually into Q2 and Q3, but let alone those sessions, I'm worried about I can't even make it out now because I'm on dry tyres trying to desperately do my lap, but you can see going wide here, just not finding the time, and eventually I'm going to have to go on to intermediates here or even worse, just not be able to run because there won't be enough time in the session, because you can see the rain dots now are forming on the left-hand side of the chassis. So this is really, really odd and intriguing and kind of a weird feeling. For the first time ever in an F1 game, I've had like a system fault that's to do with the car in qualifying or just in the garage that's actually making a difference. Like I said, usually it's been like a 2-minute issue or 1-minute issue where there's a brake fluid issue or, you know, some sort of electrical issue, but it doesn't, you know, take too long, and also there's never weather to kind of come into the mix. But this is the perfect storm. 5.5-minute issue, and also rain was on the way, and so those 5.5 minutes were the 5.5 minutes that all my competitors needed to set a dry time. You can see I go across the line, it's only P19, and even worse, it goes down to P20. Sergei Sorokin also faces the same demise. I think he went out too late as well, because both of us are many, many seconds off the pace of what is actually, I think, my teammate on the very top of this session. And so it's intermediates now. I fast through the session, and that is it. I am out of Q1, and I'm starting last place at the Belgian Grand Prix. And it's not even my fault. The car has just failed me today. The electrical system fault. I can't do anything. We're last, and we're out of qualifying. The only kind of small little caveat is Ricciardo seems to have the same sort of issue. Maybe he went out too late, and he's out of qualifying as well. So the man who won the last Grand Prix is also out of Q1. But my teammate, which is my main rival in the championship, is out there. The 2 Ferraris are through. Obviously, they'll all qualify now on intermediates or whatever, you know, full wet tyres in Q2, Q3, because it looks like the weather's just going to get worse and worse. But it doesn't matter for us because we're already out there. There is some tiny saving grace here. One, our teammate is faster than the Q1, so it looks like our car is performing very well around here at Belgium, as it would do on paper, being the best team by a decent chunk to Red Bull. So the race shouldn't be too bad, and I'm confident we can make overtakes. And also now I get the chance actually to cleverly take an entire new column of fresh engine components, because of course I'm last place. I can't start any further from last place, so I may as well take penalties for changing every single bit of my engine, and also taking a new gearbox as well. You break the seal, you get a 5-place grid penalty. I also get penalties for breaking park firm and changing all the engine components, but I'm last place anyway. So we get a free ride at having fresh engine components, a fresh gearbox for this race. So in a way, I'm going to be prepared as best I can, have the best car on the grid, have a car that's minty fresh with the engine and the gearbox. So let's not get bogged down too much and get disappointed we're in last place. Let's just take this by the scruff of the neck and aim for as high as we can and do the last question mark challenge here at the Belgian Grand Prix basically, and just go for it. So let's get into the intro and see how we do on Sunday.
Who doesn't love the Belgian Grand Prix? It's the race, of course, that gave maiden pole positions to the Jordan and Force India teams, with Rubens Barrichello and Giancarlo Fisichella respectively. Jordan, of course, would then go on to better that here in 1998 with their first ever victory. And you can guarantee that something special will always happen at Spa-Francorchamps. But what that something is today is anybody's guess. So here we are once again at Spa-Francorchamps with 19 corners, 9 to the right and 10 to the left, and a lap distance of 4.35 miles. An average lap speed in the dry here is around 145 miles per hour. It's a very quick circuit indeed. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk about the engineer. No grid penalties, no mitigating circumstances, just a poor qualifying performance and a very disappointing start position for them today.
They'll have a sinking feeling as they look up from the cockpit and realise they're in a different postcode to the start line for sure. But the one positive they can hold on to is that the car is quick and they can make their way through the field.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Hamilton, Esteban Ocon and Magnussen, Alonso, Leclerc, Van Dorn and Kimi Raikkonen, Sainz, Perez, Marcus Ericsson and Gasly, Stroll, Hartley, Daniel Ricciardo and Nico Hülkenberg, Sirotkin and the engineer. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right, here we are then, last place on the grid. It is showtime here, going to that one-stop, soft tyre to medium tyre. Not even using the super softs today, but don't need to worry about that because those wear out quite fast here around Spa. So easy one-stop for us, try and get through as much traffic as we can on the soft tyre, then run long on mediums. And also at the same time, look at this, the rain from Saturday may also come at the end of the race there. That one icon might just come into play, so it might be a two-stop in the end if we all go to Inters at the end, which could play into another factor of us gaining more places, or it could also be a bad thing for us. We'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it, but filling up on plenty of fuel, using lots of rich mix, and going very aggressive with this brand new engine, brand new gearbox. Let's get into this then with a 65 place grid penalty apparently there. A little bit weird because we're last place anyway, we know about that, but here we go then to 5 red lights to the Belgium Grand Prix, and we're underway for 22 laps here around Spa-Francorchamps from last place on the grid. And let's try and make up these positions into turn 1, trying to go down the inside of the Williams car, maybe cheekily down the inside of the Red Bull. We don't want to get held back there too much in that train of cars there into turn 1, so we do get up into P18. Hulkenberg just about manages to slot in behind us. I was a little bit worried he was going to try and go side by side with us through the hill and up towards the Kemmel Straight, but he does tag in behind, and so now we can try and chase after Ricciardo, who obviously is one of the other top guys making a run with us from the back end of the grid. He got knocked out in Q1. I don't know if he just ran late in Q1 or what, but yeah, there you go. The race winner is here with us, so let's try and get through him. And to be honest, getting past Ricciardo may be the most difficult thing about this initial stage of the Grand Prix. You know, I'm confident I can get past the Saubers, the Toro Rosso, the Williams of the grid, but getting past the Red Bull car will be difficult because that's actually a top car here, and you can see straight away Ricciardo brake checks me. I am very, very lucky I didn't break a bit of my front wing there. We defend from Hulkenberg, and so straight away already, within a few turns of saying it, Ricciardo's already being a thorn in my plan here. I need to get past the Red Bull car, and then I can fly past the others, because I know the Red Bull's not great in a straight line, so maybe Ricciardo might find it difficult to overtake cars this afternoon, but I won't, hopefully, down the back straight, especially with Slipstream here being so powerful around Belgium on the F1 game. But again, Ricciardo brake checking us in the mid-apex, and so he's again putting us towards defending Hulkenberg rather than attacking him. And so we need to do this now as we go to bus stop here, try and find the space, but it might be difficult because we've got 2 cars side by side already of Sergei Sorokin, also Brendan Hartley, the Toro Rosso, again for a 3rd time now. Brake check by Ricciardo, have to lift off there. This is really getting quite annoying now, just like I got annoyed at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Here we go now, down the inside. This is for Hungary, mate. Down the inside of the bus stop, she's going to try and overtake Vettel, goes faster. So my main championship rival, who's not in the same car, Vettel and the Ferrari, is at the moment leading the way in this Grand Prix as we now try and make this move done on Ricciardo. He does well to stick around the outside of us, but eventually turn 1, I'll go wide and deep on purpose to squeeze him out and try and just kind of push him off a little bit, and we're up into P17, and now I can try and get away and chase after all the midfield cars, which should be all but a certainty to overtake, to be honest, today. And immediately one of those cars is going to be Lance Stroll. Then in the Williams we move on into sector 3 of lap number 2, catching up in the right and then the left, and you can see the mid-corner grip is just there as we catch up to the Canadian there. But again, like Ricciardo, he's going to kind of brake check us a little bit into the apex. We make some contact there and a bit of ping pong there, kind of pushing him out of the way, but to be honest, he's so slow for some reason, and I just about survive onto the wall there. You can see maybe how hard I'm trying to push, because I'm desperate to get up this order at the moment. You know, the fact we're only P16 right now on lap 3 was a little bit worrying, because if I was doing a last question mark challenge for like a video, I would be very, very worried if I was in P16 at this stage of the race. Of course, Spa's a much longer lap, but still, I was very, very desperate to get up the order there. So a little bit maybe over-aggressive with Lance Stroll, but hey-ho, I mean, he's already 2 seconds behind us, so eventually would have fallen behind us either way. But now we catch up to Brendan Hartley. We're going to make an overtake as we go towards Rouge. We're going to go side by side on the outside, then up the hill. It's going to be so close there. We lift off to give him the room, and he still managed to go around the outside, and good on him there for keeping it in. But we eventually do have that and have the downforce to pull it through. DRS open as well to catch up to Pierre Gasly then, and we'll catch him up by the time we get to Pouon then. Flat out there, mid-apex, power down, and we're going to go around his outside then. Gasly just does not have the oomph on the exit of the corner. The Honda engine not working too well for him quite yet there. I've been surprised how little Toro Rosso have really upgraded that Honda engine, to be honest, this season. You've seen the likes of McLaren become like the second or best engine on the grid sometimes, whereas the guys at Honda and Toro Rosso just not bothered to upgrade the engine power for some reason so far in my career mode as AI. But here we now move. We're up into P14. We're closing up at the end of lap 4 onto 3 cars here of Ericsson, Perez, and I think it's the other Renault Carlos Sainz, as we're going to try and move now on the outside of Blanchard. Shimon there, a little bit off circuit, right in the curb like Verstappen did back in 2014, but down the inside there are 2 cars as well, and it's going to be a triple overtake then into the bus stop, and that is the kind of overtake I needed here. Let's go. That is the fire we need in the belly right there. Overtook Ericsson on the outside of Shimon, dive down the inside, simple move then on Perez and Sainz, and now we can close up to Stoffel Van Dorn's train here in on lap number 9. So it's already been quite some way into the Grand Prix actually. We're getting nearly to halfway through this stage, so the race is flying by and we're only now catching up to the point. So let's try and get him if we can. Van Dorn in P10, I should say, not P9, but here we go now around the outside then of the Belgian man, the home man, of course, trying to fight hard, but he's behind Leclerc at the moment in the improving Sauber. Alonso comes in for an early stop. We're still fighting Van Dorn here. It's all feeling a little bit more like my driver at the moment, me v Van Dorn. Quite a hard fight he's given me. Obviously the McLaren has improved, despite, you know, any kind of nerf or whatever. That car is still pretty damn good, and in the aero department I think the McLaren is actually better than the Haas car at the moment still in the performance chart. So Van Dorn doing a great job. He squeezes me towards the wall there, but we're going to have the speed then in a straight line to pull it through as we go up the hill and to the Kemmel Straight. We're up into P8, then we'll try and close up then on Charles Leclerc if we can. But saying that though, Van Dorn with the second or third best engine on the grid in the back of that car might close up, but not enough there, as we're going to keep that. And now, yes, we will focus then on that Sauber. But as we move on through the Grand Prix, my teammate Alonso was making moves on the outside then of the Force India, but a bit of contact made there, and they go side by side still somehow, even though with the contact. And actually ahead of them was the Merc in the Red Bull, Verstappen and Hamilton, I think that was, also going side by side, but Magnussen trying to go the long way around, and still they're at it there, having this battle, really nice battle. And meanwhile we've got Verstappen having overtaken Hamilton. So at the moment first place is Sebastian Vettel from Verstappen, then Hamilton, and then P4 is, I'm assuming, either Magnussen or Sergio, I think Esteban Ocon, I think that was, as I already overtook Perez, of course, in that move I made down the inside of those 3 cars there. So Magnussen at the moment doing a good job in P4, but very interesting enough again, you know, despite clearly on paper our car being so much faster than everyone, Magnussen even is struggling here. I don't know what it is. The top 3 teams, the established top three teams, especially here, are surprisingly doing very well. I mean, I'm shocked that Hamilton's actually there in P3, because the Merc is looking horrendous, you know, on the chart, on the performance data. But around here at Belgium, in the actual race conditions, Hamilton's not doing too badly, to be fair. But now you can see we're moving up the order as a lot of the grid is now making their first and only pit stop of the Grand Prix, I think. A lot of us will be on 1 stops here today. Obviously, because it rained in Q2 and Q3, I think everyone has a free choice of tyres. Raikkonen, though, opted to start on super softs, which is a little bit strange, to be honest, but he's actually still going on lap 7. So, to be fair, I think he's got some good tyre wear and good pace on those tyres, but not enough, maybe, as we catch him up now by the end of lap 7. Van Dorn is keeping me honest here in P3, in P3 as well. He's in P4, obviously. Raikkonen P2 at the moment. I think in first place might just be Vettel, maybe, if he stayed out that long. If Raikkonen's staying out, I imagine maybe both Ferraris are looking quite good on tyre wear. But here we go now to overtake the Iceman on the outside there. I had to go for the outside move. We lock up on the front left and nearly go completely off circuit there. But I had to overtake him on the left because I assumed he was going to come into the pit lane, and he does. So if I had overtaken Raikkonen on the inside, he would have effectively maybe hit me as he came into the pit lane. So I just kind of tried to preempt that and go around his outside. But in doing so, he squeezed me nearly completely off, just like I think, what was it, Verstappen nearly did, I think, last season in this career mode race. And so locked up the front left, nearly went off circuit. That's fine. We're up into first place now. Van Dorn second, Gasly third. And so now it's a case of me and Van Dorn. I don't really count Gasly in this fight. Me and Van Dorn going as long as we can. And Van Dorn is actually closing here with DRS. Of course, I no longer have any DRS off any car ahead of me. So Van Dorn now is going to attack me for first place. We're going to have to defend to the inside there. He's alongside us. Have to give him the room on the inside there. We just about managed to keep ahead, though, as we swing through on the right there. The lovely change, weight change there from left to right. And we're going to keep first place for now. Hopefully going to keep that for the entirety of this first stint. And really now it's a case of we're trying to stretch this as much as we can, because I've got some okay pace on the soft tyres. They've not really gone off too much here, but at the moment Van Dorn is just doing a great job actually keeping up with me, and he sends one down the inside of P1 here. It's not like my tyres are actually going off. I feel like I have a lot of pace still left in them, but Van Dorn is just doing a fabulous job here at wrangling the neck of that McLaren car. Round the outside of the right-hander to the left, then he's going to duck in behind and kind of break a little bit early and tuck in again. And so at the moment I'm just hoping that I can get the pace down and get away from Van Dorn, because if we are two fighting, it's not going to help either of us get up the order in this Grand Prix. Speaking of fighting here, Magnussen catching up on Fernando. Alonso here, they've already made their pit stops, of course. They're all on medium tyres. Magnussen pulls to the left and he's going to overtake Alonso, and then he has Ocon to re-overtake. So Magnussen's actually lost out big time then in the pit stop phases. He's lost 2 positions, not only Ocon but also Alonso, and now you can see also the top guys are all stuck in a bit of traffic there. Verstappen in traffic. Hamilton, I think, is ahead of him now, maybe even. No, that's Verstappen is behind Hamilton, I should say, and Ricciardo's continuing on. So yeah, the top 3 guys, Vettel, Hamilton and Verstappen, all stuck in a bit of traffic, and Hamilton's managed to actually jump Verstappen then up into 2nd place, and you can see actually the traffic's so bad that Vettel, the race leader, is even getting held up by a Sauber car here. So as the entire grid on the performance chart closes up, traffic just gets worse and worse, because the quote-unquote traffic is actually still quite fast, actually. They're not like back marker traffic. It's actually traffic where you actually have to work hard to overtake them, and they're all for position, actually. Obviously, remember, there's no blue flags here, so they can race as hard as they want. So they're definitely going to hold up all these guys, and that's going to pay dividends for me and Van Dorn potentially, because we're in free air. Obviously, like I said, Van Dorn's fighting us, but the hope is we can get away from Van Dorn and just get our head down and do our own thing. And so whilst these guys are all being held up, that's going to pay big time for us to gain the time, and hopefully we could actually be in a very good position. And even more so, because we're going to cut back to our POV, and it's lap 14, and I'm still going on soft tyres, and we've done such good work on these soft tyres and effectively used the ultimate tyre upgrade to good effect. We didn't really see that ultimate upgrade come in too much at Hungary, but here, clearly, the ultimate tyre wear upgrade helped so much, because now I'm going to come in with 8 laps remaining onto super soft tyres. I'm going to do a one-stop super soft and soft tyres the other way around, of course, and so we're going to be on the fastest compounded tyre with lower fuel than everyone else, and potentially, you can see in the clouds as well, the clouds are getting a little bit darker, so that rain right at the end might be coming as well, and so we're going to be in a prime spot here. So I was really disheartened at Hungary that the ultimate upgrade for the tyre wear didn't really affect us too much. Obviously, Hungary was a different case. You know, we're all on hard tyres, so it didn't really play into it. But here, with clean air, it really did make the biggest difference here. And so we come out in P6 in this Grand Prix. P6. I mean, to be fair, we were already technically up into like P9 or P8 by the time everyone started to make their pit stop, so we've gained 3 positions here. But still, to be right behind my teammate now after starting last place there just shows how much, 1, traffic he got held up in, and 2, how good our pace was on soft tyres, with the tyre wear there being pretty damn good. And now, obviously, I'm on 2 compound softer tyre than Magnussen and everyone else in this Grand Prix now. I'm going to be flying around this circuit so much better. The super soft to medium tyre delta, I think, should be almost even maybe a second here. So we're going to go on the outside then of Magnussen. We just about get squeezed off on the grass nearly there by our teammate, so no love lost there. Of course, he is our main championship rival, so I can expect him to give me a bit more of a fight, especially since I started last place. He's probably very shocked that I'm here fighting him. So we go around the outside of the bus stop. He's still giving us a real good scrap here, but we're going to ultimately get up into P5 hopefully, as we're going to go to low right now, because actually play this a little bit tactically. Obviously, we're going to get DRS on the Camel Straight, so I may as well stay behind him, get DRS on the Camel Straight and overtake him there, or even towards Rouge, because if I had overtaken him then into turn 1, he would have got DRS on me, he would have re-overtaken me, and you can see where I'm going with this. So play a bit more tactically, you know, think about the passing we're doing here today. So here we go, pull to the left, DRS open, and so it will be an easier pass. Now up into P5, and now we can calmly get away from Magnussen, use the tyres in Sector 2 here, and try and chase after now Esteban Ocon in a very lofty P4, but we're going to try and spoil the party for him if we can. And then all the while as well, that dark cloud cover is building up here around Belgium, so onto the very next lap of the Grand Prix, we are closing up on that Force India car of Ocon. But now look at this, look at the picture, look at the screen, it's so much darker now, it's getting towards overcast, and that rain is looking more and more likely to come. Like, look at that in the distance, the dark clouds coming over the circuit there, and so that rain is going to come. So that might play into us, it might not. I don't know what's better, the soft or the harder tyres when the track is damp to us. Last year on F1 2017, if you're on harder tyres, your car performed better when it was slippery and damp, whereas on soft tyres it was a little bit less. So I might be a little bit screwed maybe towards the end of the Grand Prix. We'll see if it's going to be wet enough to go into Inters, but we go down the inside of the Frenchman then into P1. It's going to be a very tasty move. We can pull it off there on the outside then to the right hand. It's a real nice ding-dong battle here with Esteban Ocon. He's doing a great job, to be fair to him, to hold me up here, and he's holding the inside line quite well. We're on the outside, going to switch back and kind of cut in and get straight into the car a little bit faster. And so now down the main straight here, we've got a car out of this Grand Prix of Vegas Rockin, I think that was. We're going to close up there with ERS. Richmond's going down the inside there into the back straight. Ocon does squeeze me a fair old bit there, but down the inside of Blanchimont, we're going to cut across the racing line. He's going to be fair, he's kept his foot in really well there, and he actually now outbrakes me around the outside then to the bus stop. So it's gone on for nearly a whole lap then, that fight. Eventually we do get it. We're up into P4, and now we start the chase of Max Verstappen. But look at the minimap. That's where Vettel is, that's where Hamilton is, and that's where Verstappen is. They're not too far off there, and if I can be faster than them in the damp conditions, who knows? Could this be a miracle podium? I mean, I say miracle. Our car is the fastest outright on the grid, so it wouldn't be too out of the question mark, because it happens in real life when one of the top 3 teams starts lower back. They just fly through the grid. But I honestly never thought it would happen to us because by the point on lap 4, I was getting a little bit worried about how far back we were. Anyway, speaking of our car being so good, Magnussen eventually attacks Esteban Ocon and is trying to overtake him to try and get P5 off him. Ocon doing the best job he can to defend, of course, because him and Perez at the moment are in some very decent positions. Magnussen on the outside trying to make it work, but Ocon is got the better line. He's got the better traction here towards Rouge though. Will Magnussen have the balls to send it down the inside? Yes, he will. Up the hill then on the outside, just like we did to Hartley, and Magnussen keeps his foot in there, but Ocon's still ahead by half a car length there. Wu has DRS, I think Magnussen does, but Ocon's Mercedes engine doing really well to pull him along, and might have drag reduction, of course, for the Force India car. Magnussen makes a bit of contact, and he's unable to overtake him then, unfortunately for us and as a team. But we move on now through the Grand Prix onto the second last lap of the race, and you can see how dark it is, and the rain is falling. If you look close enough, again, like in qualifying, at the chassis, you can see the spots of rain in the halo, and also on the car bodies. We catch up to Verstappen. We are actually catching quite rapidly here on the super softs, working well. He's got some tyre wear on those mediums as well. At the same time, it looks like we just got some good downforce here and grip, but at the moment, to say that as well, it still is slippery. I'm still having to work hard to make sure I don't make a mistake here, but we are rapidly catching Verstappen now, who's lacking a bit of confidence. But to be fair, I think everyone's bunching up, because look at in the distance just ahead, you can just about maybe catch the silver car, the silver arrow of Lewis Hamilton there in second place. Vettel not too far away as well in first, and through Pouhon, as the rain really starts to build up a little bit on the screen there. You saw a few droplets momentarily streaking down the left hand side of the screen. We're right up the back of Verstappen, and he's really looking a little bit susceptible maybe, but through the left hander, getting the throttle on a bit too much, and full opposite lock to keep that car in a straight line. That's a huge save for us. And then by the time we get to the last lap of the Grand Prix, you can see now the clear difference on the track. Visually, you can actually see the water standing there on the track, and it's time for intermediates. I think the DRS has even been disabled there, so it's time for intermediates, but it's the last lap of the Grand Prix, so there's no point to come in. And so you can see here I'm having an absolute mare, and I just can't keep the thing on the track now. And unfortunately, it's that kind of case where in these kind of conditions where, you know, I was catching, but now when it's actually wet, it's a wet track and you're still on dry tyres, the AI are very good and consistent at just keeping that pinpoint computer accuracy throttle through the corner to keep the car going in a decent amount of speed. Whereas me as a player, especially me, you guys know I have a very big lead foot. I just can't keep the car going through the corners as well as they can, and so we're going to have to settle for P4. But to be fair, we have to be happy about this, ecstatic by this. From last place, 20th place, to P4 on the grid. Fresh engine, fresh gearbox for the next few races. It's been a mega race for us. I will take that. 4th place ahead of our teammate. Great Grand Prix for us.
Thank you for all your hard work out there. That was a strong drive and a good finish. Well done.
A great win then for the Maranello team today. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
So like I said, I really can't fault that Grand Prix, and that was a really fantastic recovery drive from last place to 4th place and showing the strength of our car. Magnussen got caught out there a little bit with the traffic in the middle stage you saw of that race, and the Force Indias, to be fair, were also flying with... I don't even think they've got a very good engine, to be honest, in the ranking. I think they've just got a lot of reduced drag, maybe. But you can see we extend the lead then to Magnussen in the Drivers' Championship, but both of us are going to lose a little bit of points there to Sebastian Vettel, who wins that Grand Prix. And actually, I think I forgot to choose a rival. I think one of you guys pointed out in the last episode, so I need to make sure I re-choose a rival, and I probably will end up choosing Vettel again. But in the Constructors there, we lose a little bit of points, I think, maybe on Ferrari, but I don't know the maths there, but we might have lost a little bit. But either way, we've still got a really good gap there, but nothing changes for anyone there after that kind of interesting, chaotic Grand Prix with some rain. But now let's go to that final interview after the race.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
I'm going to go with, I said it, the car was going really nice from the weight change of left to right here and there. I'm going to say it was like a ballet dancer of a car, really nice and nimble, obviously a very light chassis under us, so it always works out there to getting through traffic.
It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it?
And with this, I'm just going to go, I was an idiot magnet, just a little bit tongue-in-cheek, reduced rep for Haas, but
you left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip, or did you just misjudge some corners?
And then with this one, I'm going to go no comment, because I don't see any benefit of answering this question to any kind of answer, really.
Great. Well, that's everything.
So that's going to be the end of the episode then, guys. So if you did enjoy it, smash that like button for that amazing recovery. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. We're going to round out the episode then with, we are actually technically still losing our rivalry right now with Magnussen currently. You can see the reputation goes up and up and up for a lot of the teams there and my own. And then finally, like I said, we need to choose our rival, and there's no other logical choice but Sebastian Vettel. He's the only other car that's fighting us in the championship, and he won the race today. So let's give ourselves a challenge. 21 respect points to 25 for Magnussen, so seems logical and the best challenge really. And the more, like I said, he's the only other non-Haas car there in the championship. So that's been this episode then, guys. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.